recording.
Okay. So, my name is Wanda. I'm going to channel love energy, just like I do all the time. So, if you like these videos, press subscribe on YouTube. And this is Ash. He likes to debate with the universe of love. So, we'll see what comes up today. And I'm just going to check out and I'll come back at the end.
Okay.
Yes. We are quite familiar with your energy. There has been many energetic exchanges. So we are quickly able to unite with your energy and pull it forth to assimilate. Now, you're not always aware this is going on, but you are only one of many and much energy that looks like humans. So energy dresses itself up like humans and walks around your earth. And really, you're not as you seem. You are not as you seem, and neither are the others. They are energy contained, barely. Many are barely contained within their body, and the energy shoots out of them. And sometimes they can shock people with their fingertips or get shocked themselves. Sometimes they can't keep the energy and electricity contained within the body. So when we are having this energetic exchange, your energy gets mixed up with the universe, and it changes the way you are. It changes the way your brain works. It changes the way you think. Oftentimes, you are moved energetically by responses, and you are prodded to suggest different things, or all of this. This is from an energetic exchange. This is no longer two humans pretending they're human. This is an energy exchange. So you yourself are no longer a student or a teacher. You are just one of many others who are energy. And that is what happens here. What unfolds here is important for some to hear and understand, and you as well, because you're involved in this. But what is happening is an energetic evolution. It's an evolution of mankind, and it's not just your average conversations any longer. Now it's what universe are you going to hear us today? Do you show up? Do you exchange energy with us? And therefore, it's not a teacher and a student, it's an exchange. This is important to understand, that your ideas and who you have evolved to become, and your curious self and your loving self, all come into the mix. So it's sort of like mixing up a big birthday cake. So you mix up the batter, all of these different ingredients come together then. And then this is the human experience, what is in the batter. Piece by piece of humans' ideas, thoughts, feelings, and emotions all come together to this moment. And this moment becomes the energetic evolution.
And is when you say we, you're talking about the other energy of humanity, are those people that are incarnated, or are these non-physical beings that you're also referring to?
It's really, that's a very good question, but it's really all of you. This is you evolving, by the way. So you have evolved during our exchanges to open your mind further and to think beyond humans, which is perfect. So humans are energy, non-physical are energy. We are energy because we are from the universe of love. We have not come into a human form, but we are still love energy. So all of this is mixed together in this let's just call it a birthday cake mix. Let's just call it that. So it's all involved in this. So you're starting to understand that it's not just human to human to human, and you therefore are more than human. So as you apply this notion to others, when you speak of mankind, is that non-physical or is that physical? You're referring to yourself as well. So now you're opening up. You're opening up to the idea that non-physical is around you. For this notion comes from your thinking, let us explain that this notion is not always yours. So these ideas and what comes out of your mouth are not always limited to your brain or life experience. They are the energy and thought and questions of many that flow through you because you have shown up as a curious spokesperson for mankind. And they're very curious. You are curious, but there are more that are curious as well. And now all of this information is passing through. And what comes out of you is the most important, the most prevalent, the most asked questions. So when we say we, yes, we're referring to humans, non-physical, and love energy all together. For this is the truest, this is the truth. It's not just a bunch of humans walking around on earth down there by yourself.
Mm.
There's more going on. And that's the absolute truth. And that's what we call evolution.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
that's what you're really after.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm trying to, and I had questions specifically around some of those things I wanted to revisit. So when you say we, that we in the universe of love, is there any sense of individuation there? Like we would feel as individuals as humans, or I would imagine it being like a connection of the energy of everyone. So, or it's a connection of energy. So there would not be any sort of sense of separation with it.
Let us explain this. Let us explain this. Um, as you're together, when you're non-physical, of course, you're not all in non-physical at the same moment because there's many that have gone into human form. So
Mhm.
you're not all together. So humans are on the earth walking around,
Mhm.
and each human walking around on the earth has a certain knowing within them of where they belong, what they know, because there's a part of humans that is eternal. And you have called this many things. You call it soul, spirit. Through the times, there have been a word used for this. We call it love energy. Most accurate words we can come up with during this time of your life on this earth and during this time frame. So this love energy exists within you when you're in human. Many humans decide not to look at it, so they put it to sleep for this time that they're around, and they're just having a human experience. Let's see this, let's do that, let's go buy this, let's do that. So that's absolutely fine. Every human every time decides, will I remember, will I forget, will I remember a little, what will I do? So each human time you decide this. So that's a little part of the universe of love, but it stays with you. So there's a part of the universe of love in you when you're in your human form.
Mm.
This also holds memories of all of your eternity. So many different times you're in and out and all of this and in between times. So it maintains this sort of, it's a memory keeper.
Mhm.
So that's when you're in human form. Those that are not in human form at this minute are in non-physical energy. And when they're there, they're also all one. And this is the complicated part. You are one, and we might as well say you are one and you are everything. So what this means is you are able to have a part of you that remembers everything, remembers all your lives. But when you're all together, you also become you lose this need to remember. You lose your sense of self, and you become enmeshed when you are now one with everything and everything that ever was, and you wish it to be that way. You wish to be one with all others that have had human lives. You wish to be, it's a certain amount of ease that's brought with letting go of all of the need that you have in humanity. When you're in human, there's great needs and pressure and to be a human. But when you're not, you let it all go. And then you're your truest, highest self because you're all together as one. So you are, you carry a part of the universe of love within you when you're human, and you are the universe of love when you're not. So
Mhm.
it's not exactly perfect answer to this, but it's the truth of it. You are everything and you're nothing.
So I think
And it's the way you wish it to be.
I think of the metaphor of a drop of water, where you can be a drop of water that's
Yes,
individuated, but then when you go back into the ocean or the sea, you become
yes,
part of the sea, and there's no disconnection there, but you
it's
could still
perfect.
extract a drop of water again
Yes,
from the sea, right?
that is exactly the truth of it.
Hmm. Interesting. So when you're connected, so when you go back into that place of connection with everything, is there any sense of, do you kind of lose your sense of self and your experiences and like all those things that are retained in that memory of your experiences? Because you would be have access to everybody else's life experiences too, would you not?
Yes. So now it is shared, you see. But you also always have yours because yours comes and goes. You couldn't, let us put it,
Oh,
how do we put this?
so there is an aspect of individuation that,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. It's a very good story that you have told. You are a drop of water and you're also the ocean.
Mhm.
So there's a part of you that when it's time to leave the ocean, you will become a drop of water.
Mm.
But while you're in the ocean, you are the ocean.
Right.
We love this new. We're going to try to, we'll try to use this again. This is a very good way to put it.
Yeah. I was thinking now is almost like a bucket of grain where you can have an individual kernel of grain, but when you put it in the bucket, it becomes a bucket of grain, but there's still a separation between each kernel in the bucket,
Yes.
but you're all
Yes.
together in the bucket though. So
Yes,
that's
but it's more than that because you all wish to be, because you understand you have a higher purpose together. So the ocean has a higher purpose. It feeds animals and humans sit on it to move their boats around. It has a higher purpose as an ocean. As a drop, it can't maintain animal life. No boat can float on it. All of these things. So you see, it's a higher purpose. That there's a reason why you enjoy it and why you wish to be part of it.
Mm,
It's for this higher purpose, which is this oneness, this love, this ease and comfort with one another, to support mankind.
mm,
You're always supporting mankind in their experience. So whoever is in non-physical is also at your disposal. So when you have this sort of energetic exchange, you say, I need some support, they come because that's their purpose. That's the higher purpose. The higher purpose of you non-physical, yes, to be loved, to be one, to know everything, to have universal intelligence, but it's also to respond to the needs of the humans
mm,
and to return back to humanity whenever you're ready.
mm. Okay, very good. If I have a list of questions that are all related to this, so this is a great start. Um, Now, I just did a hypnotic session with a fellow who's been struggling with different issues in this life, and um, a colleague of mine has been working with him, and what the pattern that seems to have evolved, or what our understanding of what's happened from the information that's come through, is he's had many incarnations as a human, but he's incarnating with a higher being, and this higher
Yes.
being does not have his best interests at heart. So the higher being has used him in a malevolent way,
Mm,
and causing a lot of strife. So all of his lives that he's had as humans have been very negative experiences.
mm,
And he's being influenced by this being. Now, whether that's a belief that he has or whether that's actually true, we have no way of knowing. But the information that comes through when he's in a deep trance state seems to support this concept. So then I started thinking, well, I wonder if all higher non-physical beings, if they necessarily have other people's interests at heart. So if there's no good and there's no bad, that's just labels that humanity puts on things. It seems quite plausible that you could get into this cycle with another energetic being that could not be for your best interest.
So we will explain this in a very general way because you are speaking of specifics and there are many humans. When you come into human form, you come with a non-physical support team. So you travel through eternity with a certain group of you. Now, what you are saying, you see, is he's traveling with the same group of non-physicals over and over, which is correct. There's a certain amounts, certain ones that travel with you. Sometimes you're the human, sometimes they are. Now, why would a group travel through eternity together? What sort of relationship does this group have that they would make such a strong commitment to? We're using human words for this because it's the way you understand them. So why would a group of certain beings travel through time together? They have a large commitment to one another, which is exactly what you're stating, that the same relationship shows up over and over and over. So what is happening is this, which is, it's sort of funny the way that it's been interpreted by this human. Someone that they care deeply for travels through time with them, knows them intimately as they know them. They know one another intimately. Now, even if you choose in your human life and you're walking around to ignore voices, feelings, or anything from your support team, that's absolutely fine too. When you ignore these, but yet there's also a part of you that's curious about them, and ask, is there anyone there? Does anyone care about me? What's happening? They will hear answers. Now, how that person interprets the answers is something different. When they're in a spiritual state, alignment, and when they say, is there anyone with me? What is happening around me? And when you are in alignment, this, well, might as well say you, because you will represent this human. When you're in alignment in a peaceful place, which is connected to universe of love, you will hear the truth, which will always be love. So what is, we will confirm that human is traveling through time with the same group, but we will also suggest that this human is out of alignment because it's hearing things that are untrue. So if you hear fearful things or negative or any of these weird experiences humans say they have and they feel real to them, there's devils and evil things around, whatever all of these things are, it's the human that's out of alignment and therefore sitting in fear. If you sit in fear, you'll find scary things all around you. Now, and as you confirm this, lifetime after lifetime, sure, you'll if you are in fearful place, you will hear fearful things. If you are in alignment, you'll hear the truth spoken. Now, furthermore, these group that travel through time together with you, you have told them before you jump into the human form, remind me of this, remind me of that. Don't let me forget this. Don't let me forget that. But if I do, I'll catch you on the other end. So if you like this word contract, we're not fond of it because there's certain notions attached to it by humans. But if you call that a contract, then you can call it that. You make an agreement with your support team. You'll be the human this time, but you need to know at that moment anyway that they're coming with you, and they do. But you can also decide after a few minutes in human form, you won't hear them again till the end of your life.
Yeah, so just a couple of things on that. First of all, when I talk of contracts, they're used in a different context. It's more, think of actors in a play where I'm understanding a contract, and this was a learning that I had or an understanding that I got from other readings. So it may or may not be true, and it doesn't sound like it is from the discussions we've had. But the concept is, you might come in as the husband, and then you agree somebody else is going to be the wife in this life, and somebody else is going to be their children. And when you're traveling together as a soul family, you'll each play a role, just like actors play a role in a play.
Yes. Let us slightly correct this, because now we have used the word in, you make an agreement with your non-physical support team. But there's also one other thing that you haven't asked, but you want to know this. When you choose to jump down, you are choosing to come into a certain circumstance. But the circumstance, you can only see what it's like at that moment. You don't know how it's going to turn out or anything. But at that moment, you do come down to a certain place. You choose the human, you jump into it. Oh, you've never asked this, but you've always wondered if this was part of it. So in that way, we're not saying you make a contract with you're the mother, you're the father, you're the baby, but you come down that moment knowing where you're going. But after that, there's nothing. There's no more knowledge known to this.
So that takes a little bit of a deviation, but yeah, that was a question I had. So if that's the case, you would say, okay, maybe a certain in a certain country, a certain set of parents, in a certain
Just the female. So the female you choose, the place, the moment. Just you only know that moment, the second, that moment. I will take this moment, this surrounding, this female.
okay.
The rest of the circumstances, you don't really know the whole story, but you know a little bit of the story. So you jump into it.
But you would know, yeah, you would know where that female lives. So
Yes,
whether
yes,
you're in which physical location on the earth, you would know, right? You'd
yes,
know a
yes.
little bit about their life and how they live. Whether
Very small, small amount, small, just enough, just a little taste. So it's not as big as you have heard or you have read about. It's
that,
just a tasteful. And you say, "Oh, that's where I'll go." And remember this, the moment you come down, just the moment before would say, you are coming into human form to allow love energy to pass through you to others because they've forgotten and you remember
hmm,
and you wish to remind them. So that small one that's coming into that female is coming to remind the female that they are love.
hmm,
Then the intentions get a little weird after you're born, but that moment, that is love. That's a love energy exchange, that moment between the human, the small, the new one, the baby one, and the female.
hmm. Interesting. So, and this is just bringing up ideas. So, if that's the case, does that mean that test tube, we call them test tube babies or like cloned humans, where there's no physical mother involved any
Mhm.
longer? We can create the physical form of humans without having to have a mother. So if that's the case, does that soul still come into that individual, or would that be a human without a an energetic form or an
Are
energy?
you are you saying that the small one is not inside the female host?
Yeah, they've got well, no, that's not true. They can take eggs,
No.
like an egg, and
Yes.
yeah, the
Yes.
building blocks, put them together, but
Yes.
then they put them inside a human
Yes.
to grow.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
but
This
then
this is
the next step is to do that completely externally.
Well, that's a whole different story, isn't it? There
Mhm.
will be some, of course, perhaps you, in that time, that will volunteer to jump into those motherless little ones, but that's not for right now. Right now, you come in, you jump into the make the agreement with the mother.
Hmm. Okay. So I'm just curious to how much information that you have before you jump in.
Just a little mouthful, just a drop.
What does that mean, a mouthful? Like, do you get
Oh,
context and do you know if it's going to be like if the parents are loving or if they're not? Is that a
Uh,
factor?
no, no. Only the mother. So it would be a connection between the mother. The mothers often call the children. They call a spirit, a
Hmm.
small one to them. This
Huh?
happens a lot of times. The female says, "I want one," and the non-physical hears this and decides, "Oh, I'll go. I like it." Very minimal amount, the where they live, what they feel at that moment, the love and the calling, that's all they'll feel, that's all they'll get. You get that little bit. Someone wants me and I want to love them. I want to remind them what love energy feels like, just a little bit. You don't know the whole story. It's your human experiences must unfold moment by moment. You
Hmm.
cannot jump into a story in the middle chapter and know how the book's going to end. You might, if you want to just use the same analogy, you jump into a book that's closed. There's no words in it. There's not even a name on the cover. If you wanted to see it that way.
Hmm.
So the little one comes, the mothers often call. Now, there are some that wish to come. The small ones come sometimes. It's not always called. but always the little ones coming in the hope that they may share the love with the host. It's always the intention of the little ones to share love with the host.
So
And some of the little ones don't live.
what happens in the case of very young mothers who get pregnant quite by accident and sometimes don't even know that they're pregnant?
Uh,
Not,
all,
not
always,
consciously.
always the intention of the little one is to come and to show love to the host.
Hmm.
That's always the intention of the little ones.
Hmm.
They are pure love. They are pure energy coming down with the hope that they will remind you of something you've forgotten.
Hmm. But if they don't know the circumstance of the mother or her emotional state at the time, then that becomes irrelevant in that
Becomes relevant.
irrelevant for the in the decision to come.
Oh, yes, that is, yes, that's true.
Yeah,
But it becomes relevant when they come out.
right,
When they come out, then the conditioning begins. The
right.
life begins of the whatever the storyline's going to be.
Interesting. Now, something I've noticed in hypnosis, and this seems to be supported by other people's work, is that you tend to incarnate in geographically the same areas of the world. So European people tend to reincarnate in Europe. You don't have somebody in, one or this just seems to be the way it's played out. So I understood that you kind of have a energetic connection to a certain location.
Uh, we would not agree with this.
No.
We would say that at one time there were not humans everywhere. So at one time you had to go to where the humans were.
Yes.
So that would be a long time ago. But this is a what do you call this, crapshoot, really. It's because you're drawn to the call of the female.
Ah,
You're
interesting.
called to females to live, to
Okay.
show what love is like.
Ah, yeah. So I've never run into a case where somebody has been, say an African. We've had Native Americans, but that's sort of in the same continent of where we are now, but not say somebody who was in Africa or India and then North America. I've never run into people that have had a mix like that. Perhaps, as you say, going back years when there were less humans, that maybe have been an issue. So, okay, that's really good learning. Thank you. So, something else that came up in these sessions, we were talking about. Um, we connected to this, the what we call a higher self or the energetic self, and learned that there's multiple energetic selves, or at least this is the information that came through. That there was a future energetic self that could look back. It was almost like a version. If you think about a basic human self, and it actually explained it this way, that there's a basic self, and as you evolve, other selves can come in. And that's a completely new concept to me.
Hmm. We might be able to explain this to you in these certain words. Uh, there is no future coming back to the past. That's because that would be cheating. But there is these words that you're using are not exactly precise, but we would call them the part of you that is alive in your human existence now. We don't really like these words that you're using, these higher self words, because they're implying that there's lower selves. So we don't want to get into the idea that you may be evil and there's lower selves as well. So
Yeah.
we not prefer this word, but we will tell you what we mean, what is meant by this explanation you've given. So as you're coming into your human existence and you're connected, like as we have said, that you take a little part of it with you. This is you would call it that word, but this is for some humans, it's their secret self, but it's a self within you that knows all things, that has experienced different lives, that has been to the non-physical world. So it knows that. The other self that you're referring to is this other self that can join in with non-physical. Some can do it when they're in their human form. They spend time in this realm, we would call it, in this heavenly space, while they're out of it, meditating, sleeping. You're able to go, some are able to go to this place. So this is what you're referring to. This is a human who travels and remembers all of it and goes, not all of it, but they remember a lot of it, enough to go back there. There's a certain remembering opened up, and they'll go, oh yes, I remember this place. I'm going to go visit. As if you're going to your grandma's house. You remember what it looks like. So you can easily take yourself there. Some humans can do this. So this is the other self. Self is incorrect, and is higher is also incorrect.
Right.
But the energetic part of you that for some humans is able to return home while they're in physical. All of you return home when you're non-physical, but some have remembered enough that they can do this. This
Okay.
is what you're referring to.
So just if I can, I just want to clarify this because you say the words we use have precise meaning. When we say higher self, I say that's synonymous with the energetic self. It's just referring to that
Yes,
soul, if you will, that energy body that exists. So
yes,
that that or and I think that's the same as the subconscious mind that we refer to, that we connect with, that knows all about yourself but
yes,
stays hidden, and most people
yes,
are not able to converse with it, right? So
yes,
I think those are all synonyms of the same thing.
yes,
Now, I understand, like my understanding was like some people have the ability when they say they can what we call astral travel or go to that
yes,
non-physical realm, that's
yes,
their ability for their energetic self to go to that area while they're still conscious. So it's not
yes.
that it's not that there's another self, it's just a skill that their energetic self has that not everybody has.
Oh, yes, correct.
Okay. Yeah. Now, in our last discussion, you brought up the concept of the higher self. And I wanted to ask you about that though, because there's a,
We are referring to this that you have said. You,
so the high, so there was this idea, again, we debated this. This was back a little while ago. And I thought that an aspect of this energetic body, let's say, only
yes.
a portion of it came with you into physical being, and a portion of it remained
Oh,
in the
no.
non-physical
Mm,
world. And you
all right.
said no, that was not true.
Yes, we will explain that again, because when you are, and also this higher self is the one that remembers and is able to go to a home. We call it home, really, universe of love. That's the higher self that is used, but we don't really like those words too much. Now, so that's what that references to. So when we have said that this part of you, while it's inhuman, is inhuman, while it's in non-physical, it becomes one.
Yes.
But the memories, the thoughts, the energy now become part of the collective.
Yes.
So in a way, you stay there, only in the way that your memories stay. Your
Ah,
memories, your experiences, that becomes part of universal intelligence. But your actual energetic self keeps coming back into human.
oh, okay. That makes sense then. So in the, we'll call it the collective consciousness, if you will, that
Yes,
greater energetic body
yes,
would have memories then. So
yes,
it benefits from the memories each individual
yes,
has.
yes,
Ah,
yes. And that's what you have access to when you go home. All the memories of all the humans that have ever been and all the emotional states. And to be honest, that's why you don't think leaving human bodies is a big deal. Because when you come back to this consciousness, there's been lives and lives and experiences and much time on your earth, and it's all become one. So all of a sudden you're like, oh well, whatever, it's just another little drop in the bucket. While you're here in your human form, you think it's a big deal. This moment you're like, oh boy, I'm a human, it's a big deal. But when you're not here, you realize it's not such a big deal. Now that is not of importance though, because while you're here, your focus is to be on this life and remember what you can remember, expose yourself to what you can expose yourself to or not.
mm,
So at this point, you are supposed to be human anyway.
yes. Okay. So So if and this is really key. So in these hypnosis sessions that we do, and somebody, I don't know, has a memory of a past life of being, I don't know, a certain individual. This has come up with really famous humans, let's say, or perhaps particularly evil ones that many people have reincarnated as this certain individual, or have had a a past life as that particular human. Is it possible that you're just tapping into, like, so when we're doing these hypnosis sessions as a physical human, and that we're looking at that energetic self, that we're actually looking at some other person's life experiences altogether? Is that
Well,
possible?
that that seems a little far-fetched. Now, you're spending a lot of time on this time regression that you do.
Mhm.
So we're not sure if that's exactly what you want to do at this time. But if you're asking if humans, a part of a human, their energetic self, can remember other lives, yes, it can. But why? Why does it want to remember it now? Now you're in this life. You see, so this exchange is so there are some humans this is beneficial for, to remember the past, to heal this time. But it's not for most. Most, there's no relevance to that. We don't like you to tell you this, don't want to hear it.
Mhm.
But for most humans, it's not relevant to their life today. Their life today is to be lived today, not thinking about other things, because most humans are not fully alive. They are not living their fullest human potential in this life. They use these other lives as more distraction. So then they pass through this life once more without living it. And they're going to come back again and say, I don't remember that. And again and again and again. And this becomes a different pattern. This is a pattern of never living. And it's absolutely fine. If you don't want to live, but you want to pretend other lives or remember other lives, you think all of this, that's absolutely fine too. You see? So there's really no way to go wrong here. If you wish to spend time revisiting time travel, you're talking about time travel because memories are held in these time travels and they go back and retrieve the memory. Now, if you'd rather do that, then live this moment and watch the tree and watch the bird fall and all of this. That's absolutely fine too. But always for human life, you came into this life to remind other humans what love is like. And in order to do that, it's to enjoy each moment that you're alive in this life, in this human life.
Mhm.
Each time a pine cone falls from a tree is majestic to you. Each time a child cries, more life. All of these things are the life that you chose to come into. And remember, this is so important for humans to remember, why do you have a body? Why aren't you a non-physical? You have a body because you wish to live.
But
You
there's a
want to
per
live. You
yeah.
want to laugh. You want to sing. You want to hold the small one. You want to catch the pine cone before it hits the ground. You want to see the little baby bird, its first time it flies. That's why you're in this form at this moment. You
Mhm.
wish to remind others of love. And now, because you've been here so long, you wish to be reminded of love yourself. Because now you're in the big pool of those who are forgotten.
Mhm.
Not you exactly, all of you.
Mhm.
You've all forgotten what you came in to do, which was to show love to others. So now you're just part of this. So now you also have to watch for love. You have to watch for an interaction between a parent that just held the child's hand before they crossed the street and there was a car coming. All of these tiny things. Someone who is picking up a piece of garbage that was lying on the street. These tiny moments of living a life that's about love and attention to love. It's a love focused life. That's what you're all doing there. So you can use distractions, do whatever you wish, really. But your highest goal is to remember love and to show it to others and watch for it in others. Watch for the tiny, tiny little things that happen that are loving. For when someone picks up a piece of garbage, the moment before they picked it up, they are thinking, I wish to clean the earth. Just one little thing like that. So in that moment, there was a second of love. I love the earth, just like this. And all of these tiny, tiny moments add up to a life that's full of love. And then you reflect love. And others who can't find it start seeing it in you. And they said, oh, why does that human look like that? Ah, might be love. They don't always know the word for it.
Mm.
First, they smile just a little bit. That's all. Because love is a big word for many, but it's the true word. It's the real thing. It's what you're doing there. So, really, these conversations are always very interesting and everything. But the point always to come back to is, why do you have a physical form right now? You don't have to. None of you have to. But you are choosing to be in a human form right now. And what do you want to do? You want to share love. You want to show love. You want to be love that others never get to see.
Mm.
And you want to witness love if you get the chance. And in order for you to witness love, if you get the chance, you've got to keep your eyes open. Watch the humans, watch the trees, watch the animals. You have to watch all the time. You're looking for love. You're watching for it every moment. Is there any love there? Is there any love there? Where's the next love coming from? Is there love right now? Is there love in an hour? Where's the love? And you spend your time in this way, your life's changed because now you're in a different place. Now you're in a love space. You're anticipating it. You know it's coming. You're just waiting for it to show up. This is truly, truly what you're doing in your existence.
Right. So I would understand. I don't disagree with that as you're living in the present moment and trying to live in a loving manner. I totally get that. What I'm referring to, and this is the key thing with the hypnosis session, why I keep coming back to it, is there's an energetic aspect to this that when things happen to people in past lives, the energy of that experience can get carried forward into this life. And
If they decide to, look, you must understand, if they decided to, they don't have to. They don't have to bring anything forward from any lives. If you say, I want to bring that into the next life and investigate it further, well, sure, bring it along. And your non physical support team will remind you. If you decide to, if you don't decide to, there's nothing coming forward.
well, what
What do
we're
you think of that now?
I've seen evidence of where people have back pain or physical scarring or
Yes,
birthmarks and things that are on their body
yes,
that
yes,
have just appeared, like there's no
yes,
impact or a trauma they've experienced in this life. But when we
yes,
do a regression, maybe they were shot by an arrow or burned
yes,
or
yes,
uh,
yes,
asthma, where you have difficulty breathing. Quite often,
yes,
they've been suffocated or had been
yes.
inhaled smoke in a past life. So
So
that
these we must interrupt this because we don't continually wish to speak of the past, but we are telling you the ones you are speaking about, the ones you deal with, want to remember the past, and that's why they've shown up with you. But there are many, many, many who don't. They've all left it behind. But there are certain ones that say, I want to do this again. I want to remember this. And they are the ones you're speaking of right now. Over and over, or not over and over, it might be just one time, but they want to remember and they will come to you because you will help them remember because that's what you do. So, is that good with that conversation? We think we should close up here.
hmm, okay. That's I guess it seems to undermine the concept of this hypnosis work and
No, no, not at all. We are saying if they wish to remember, they will remember and they will come to you and find you and say, help me remember. But most do not. Most have left their other lives behind, free and easy. But there are some who wish to hold on.
but they
And,
struggle with the illness regardless.
but it brings attention to it. They wanted to know again about it. What's it attached to it? What is the problem with it? Why is this? Am I able to do it even? Can
And
I bring it forward to in the next life? All of these things, they're all decided before you come in this moment in this lifetime. Yes, some of them wish to carry it forth, but most do not.
huh. So it's a trigger then. I always thought it was the body reacting to energy, but it's a trigger for memory the way you're talking.
Yes, yes, exactly, exactly. They'll ask the non-physical support team to remind them if they wish to as well. Some can't hear the non-physical support team, so it doesn't matter. But if there's something physical like this, they'll remember it. So that's your interest in life, to find those who wish, who have carried a trigger forward and wish to go back to revisit it. That's something you do in life. There are many humans doing many interesting things in life. That's your interest. So it's very specific. And in this energetic exchange, it's not for the masses. This experience you're having and doing is
Yes.
not for the masses. It's very precise for you.
Well, as a way of helping people, I think about healing, and people struggle with all sorts of emotional and physical traumas. So,
This will not work for all of them.
mm,
If they wish to remember, they'll find you.
mm,
If they wish to pretend that they don't know anything about it, they won't find you and they'll live through this whole life with the same thing again. You
mhm,
see, it's up to the human to decide, do I want to be changed? Do I want to carry on the way I am? Do I want to investigate this further? Is there something more to it? This is the human experience. This is the free will.
mm,
So you wish to help others. This is your strong, you have this very, very strong calling to help others. And we have told you that you will help others by allowing love to pass through you and let them see it. Now, the way that you show other humans that you are love is by this, because you're thinking, you know in a certain level, you're helping humanity,
mhm,
but you're only helping a few, only the very few that are interested or able or uh, willing to do this kind of work this time.
mm. Okay, that's very good. I'd
All
like
right.
to talk about energetic healing, but maybe we can leave that for another session then.
Yes, we will complete this one.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. That was
All right.
great information. Thank you.
Okay. Let us do namaste together.
Okay. Namaste.
Namaste. Oh, this stayed the whole time.
Go on the back. Do you want me to stop the recording, or do you have anything you want to say to conclude?
No, I think not, Ash. That's good.